Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull it. It can buy me a Yeti 110 house down with some silver bullets. Yeah, and I know what they say, money can't buy everything. Well, maybe so, but it can buy me a boat.
Right? You know how that goes.
Welcome to another episode of The Boat Boss, where we sit down each week and we talk about living, working, and playing on the water with some of the most amazing, exciting people around the globe. My name is Kim Sweers. I'm the host of Boat Boss. When I'm not on the show, I'm one of the managing partners of FB Marine Group, one of America's top 100 dealerships, located right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, today we are off the water and shooting at City Hall with the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trantalis. Welcome to the Boat Boss.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, as you know, you've been in Fort Lauderdale for many decades, and Fort Lauderdale is home to us, and it's one of the most exciting places in the world, one that is known for living, working, and playing, right?
Absolutely, to the fullest.
Well, for those of you that don't know about Fort Lauderdale, which is hard to believe, we're going to run a quick 60-second video, a little sizzle reel about what Fort Lauderdale is all about. So roll film. Isn't that an awesome video?
It's great. It doesn't even begin to tell the story of Fort Lauderdale.
That's true. It's just a little the icing on the cake about Fort Lauderdale, but Fort Lauderdale is so much more. It's been voted one of the best cities of to live, work, play, and visit, correct?
Absolutely. And it's been voted on the top 10 in so many different categories. But more importantly, it's a great place. It's fun. It's safe. And we welcome everybody from all corners of the earth to come to our city.
Well, we welcomed you, 30 years ago when you moved here?
39 years ago.
39 years ago. So
I was
where's
in
home?
my crib.
So where's home for you before?
Connecticut. I moved here from Connecticut, yeah.
Nice. And you went to?
I
What
went
school?
to Boston University.
Boston University.
For my undergrad, and then I came down here to Stetson University to go to law school.
Very nice. Yeah. Do you know the Boston University mascot?
Yes, the Terriers.
And what's his name?
I don't remember.
His name is Rhett, and he just passed away. Poor thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I have a Boston Terrier too, so we have a lot in common. Yeah. So what do you do for fun when you're not working 80, 90 hours a week?
Honestly, and I know people think they laugh when I say this, but I enjoy being mayor. I enjoy the opportunities it gives me. I enjoy the areas we're exploring to make this a better community. And of course, I go out with friends and do things from time to time, although during the COVID era, that's been sort of,
Yes.
Curtailed. But the reality is that being mayor is a full-time job. It's a lifestyle. And anyone in public office will tell you that. So
you weren't always in public office. You obviously had, you came to Fort Lauderdale and you're an attorney.
Right.
So tell us how the progression went from your own practice, correct?
Right. So when I first moved down here, I decided, because I was involved in politics when I was back in Connecticut and all the places where I've ever lived. So when I came here, I decided I'm not going to be involved in anything anymore. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to see what Fort Lauderdale's about. Maybe I'll stay here, maybe I won't. I needed to get out of the Northeast for a little bit. But when coming here, I realized what a great place it was, what a great opportunity it was. Mm-hmm. And as a young person, to start a career and to, build a family and find friends, everyone was fun, new, it was exciting. And to this day, it stays that way. So, for anybody to want to come to Fort Lauderdale, there's always opportunity for them.
There is always opportunity for you. So you were in the private sector. And then what point did you say to yourself, I want to be a commissioner, and then now mayor. So was there a person that actually motivated you, or your mentor as a politician?
Well, what happened was after I was here for about 8 or 10 years, there were a lot of there's a lot of activity in the political world, in the equal rights movement for the LGBT community. We started to see efforts coming together to try to promote equality amongst those who are gay and lesbian. And a friend of mine back then, his name was Alan Turrell, who has since passed away. He kind of mentored me and encouraged me to become more and more involved. And and he was the person that, say, he'd tell me to show up for this meeting and make sure I come there, and you should get up and speak, and all of that. And over time, I became much more involved, and it was personal, of course. And so in 1995, we were able to get our equal rights ordinance passed in Broward County, and then domestic partnership in 1999. But then in 2002, there was an open seat in the city of Fort Lauderdale in the city commission. And I felt it was time. I know other people who were in my community tried to win that seat, but the community wasn't ready. So, and I felt the community was ready in 2002. So in 2003, the election, and I was able to win. There were 7 people in the race, and
Wow.
It was a milestone for our city. It was a great milestone for our community, and it really was a watershed year for a lot of things. It showed how Fort Lauderdale embraced diversity. It showed how Fort Lauderdale welcomed people from all walks of life, and was almost a reward in some cases to acknowledge the fact that the LGBT community really invested in Fort Lauderdale, and this was an opportunity to express their appreciation for it.
Well, I think any political, situation or city or county, state should have diversification on represented, and so it's really good to see that. People ask me all the time, what is the one word that you use to describe South Florida, and I say it's diversity. It's
diversity, especially Fort Lauderdale. We have many different cultures and peoples and age groups, and it's great. Even our city commission is right now. Our city commission is the most diverse commission we've ever had in the city. Right. So it's great. We don't always agree, but we all know that we represent a point of view that we all must respect.
Well, you're definitely the people's mayor. Obviously, we see it. We had 2 back-to-back landslide victories. More voter turnout ever voting for you and getting you back into office. So congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's switch to politics. The fun stuff. All right, let's talk COVID. I know you've done so many great things in your tenure here as commissioner and now 2-term mayor. What are some of let's go with the good first. Let's go with some of the best things that you've done as a politician.
Well, the great thing that we've been able to accomplish is trying to get the city back on its feet. I feel that with this new commission, when it took office in 2018, we were able to pull together some initiatives that were just sort of languishing on the shelf, as well as opportunities that kind of fell into our lap, and we just seized the opportunity. For example, the Inter-Miami Beckham soccer stadium. Right, we immediately jumped on that. There was no hesitation. There was no politics involved there. Everyone saw the opportunity and the success that would bring to our city. And also moving forward with the Aquatic Center, being able to finally see once again Fort Lauderdale being the premier international venue for diving and swimming competitions. This is what Fort Lauderdale is all about.
We breed champions here.
We breed champions, exactly. And it will continue. Now we're working with the Panther organization. They're going to bring ice hockey to Fort Lauderdale with 2 new rinks, one for practice and one for the community. All to make Fort Lauderdale and continue to make Fort Lauderdale that family-friendly kind of environment for people to really, really enjoy what we have to offer.
Well, you definitely have that live and work and play balance. Right. You have that all in South Florida. Let's talk about COVID. I remember the day, it was March 13th, when you as our mayor spoke to your people, the city, and the world actually, and you announced, I think 30 people had COVID in our city. And then 11 days later, on the 24th, you announced 300 people and quite a bit of increase.
It was really a scary moment. Yeah. People were dying, and we had never experienced, no one was experiencing this before. And when you sign up as mayor, people don't say, you know, what's your experience in pandemics? You know, it's like, you know, it really ambushed us. All politicians were concerned. So that's why on March 15th, I partnered with Mayor Gelber in Miami Beach, and we decided to close our beaches down because we didn't know what to expect. The federal government was giving very mixed signals. The state wasn't sure what to do. No one was sure what to do. So, but we did know one thing, that the safety of our people was important. The safety of our visitors, and as well as the community folks, was most important. So we decided to shut our beaches down to avoid the close contact of individuals, and we certainly don't want them bringing back the disease to their hometown, right?
Yes.
So and I even got a call from the governor a few days later thanking me for doing it, realizing that that was the important step to take. So
and I do have to commend both you and DeSantis for crossing lines and working together. I have to say, well done. Hats off to you guys.
Well, thank you. It really, party affiliation had nothing to do with this, and I appreciate the governor and his staff for helping us out. First of all, getting test sites here, and now getting vaccination sites here in our city. People are so thankful. And so being able to work together is really, really important.
Let's talk about the sweeps. You were present when sweeps were being done to ensure firsthand that people were, doing the PPP in their restaurants and their businesses. It was an exciting time, and you actually found a lot of people and a lot of businesses were adhering to it.
Right. The good thing about Fort Lauderdale is that, for the most part, people stuck to the rules. People were eager to get rid of this disease. I mean, there were some outliers. There were some restaurants and some bars that just were slow to catch on. And of course, a couple of bars made national news, and it was some cheesy moments for the national news to just pick on us. But the reality is, and one of the reasons why we have such a low infection rate in Fort Lauderdale is because you can't go into a store, you can't go into a drugstore, you can't go anywhere without wearing a mask. And I appreciate having, being over 65, I was able to get my shots, and I think it's important for all of us to understand how personal responsibility was really, really key here in protecting yourself as well as others. Like I said, there are always some people who are trying to be, rebels.
Of course.
But for the most part, our community really pitched in to make this a success.
So then you gathered some of the top business leaders to create the Blue Ribbon work group.
Right.
And to open up reopen. I know, right?
Yeah.
So you reopened the city with a bunch of advisors that you're, very.
We pulled together business leaders, members of the faith community, members of the education area community. We tried to pull people from all sectors of our city and say, hey, what are best practices going forward? And everyone had opinions. We tried to bring those opinions together and distill what would be best practices. And in the end, we really, I think, came with a plan that I think made a lot of sense for everybody. We're still very eager to maintain enforcement. We still are very aggressive on enforcement. We have spring break coming up now.
Yes, we do.
So I tell people, don't come down here thinking it's going to be, it's going to be a reckless, and you're endangering yourself and others.
There are rules to be followed.
We have rules here. We want you here. We want you to have fun here. We want you to enjoy yourself here, but we don't want you to take home something other than just a souvenir.
I agree.
No diseases, nothing,
That's
right?
great.
We want good memories. And the reality is, I think people are coming down here with that expectation.
Well, those policies and procedures you just spoke of were also key when you decided to move forward with the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show.
Right.
You obviously was in Forma, the city, the county, Marine Industries Association of South Florida that owns the show. That was a great collaboration, and you pulled it off.
Well, thank you. And it took the collaboration to make it a success. We had a lot of people who were fighting back against us, saying, we were doing all the wrong things. Even the county was very skeptical about our decision. But the reality is, it was a success. It showed that we could coexist with the disease and still be safe and still move forward. Because as a public official, we had not only to maintain the safety of lives, but also livelihoods. And if we didn't try to make that balance, it's easy to just say, let's close everything down and let's all, shutter up into our homes and pray that the disease goes away. Well, we did that spring break, and the disease doesn't go away. It's still here. So we have to figure a way to keep ourselves safe and at the same time try to bring the economy back, because people were getting government checks, but people don't want to live on government. They want to be able to get back on their feet, earn a living, and to be able to put food on the table and pay their rent.
Absolutely. And the boat show plays a big part of that. And
It did.
It was actually the second boat show since the pandemic. We had the Genoa show first, and then you actually moved forward with the Fort Lauderdale show. And it was a big success. A lot of the manufacturers sold good boats.
Good.
A lot of boats. Intrepid sold 17. Contender, I think, sold just as much. And Viking, the list goes on and on.
Good to
So
hear.
Marine Max did real well with Boston Weather. Can't even tell you that we're
And those
very
are all, and those sales meant jobs.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
those people, many people said, oh, it's just a playground for the rich. Well, thousands of jobs were connected to that boat show.
Absolutely.
And we were able to maintain those people working and being able to continue providing for themselves and their families, and that was the goal.
Yeah. Well, I hope that there are certain parts of the PPP practices that you incorporated remain. I think it was a much better show, it was a cleaner show. People were more aware, socially
Right.
distanced, and just having the sanitization and the temperature check. Well done. Hats off to you guys.
So they're talking about, is this going to be our practice in 2022 and
I
2023?
hope so.
We're not a mask society.
Right.
In Asia, if you ever travel to China and Japan, it's an everyday occurrence where you see people wearing masks years ago. So we always used to mock that,
Mhm.
but they were doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully some of it will stick and we'll be a cleaner, healthier
I think so.
city as a result. All right, so Renee Quinn, who we both know very
Yes.
well, she reached out to me. She goes, I have a question for the mayor.
Okay.
So she wants to talk about the future, and the future involves Elon Musk and a partnership, we hope, with tunnels underground to help
Right.
with, and underwater to help with traffic. What are your thoughts on that?
Well-
And thanks, Renee, for that great question.
Okay,
So
so
here's the photo.
there's the photo. So this past week we went to Las Vegas and we went to Los Angeles. And the reason why we did that was to meet up with the Boring Company, which is the company Elon Musk owns, which is now beginning to get into the business of building underground tunnels for the purpose of transportation enhancement. What does that mean? If you build tunnels, you eliminate all the street traffic.
And that's to the left. That was, if you
Yes.
can put that
to
photo
the
right
left.
there.
That was their that's the test tunnel that they have in Las Vegas, and it's going to be I think it's next week they're going to begin using it, and it goes from the airport to the convention center.
Fantastic.
And the purpose of that is to shuttle people up and down, back and forth from that particular site. But they also have a plan. Right now it's a 1 mile plan, but they're going to expand it to 15 miles
Wow.
throughout the entire city, create a huge loop in and around the city, all underground.
That's fantastic.
So-
Sort of like Disney-esque, if you will.
Well, it's even beyond that. I started watching the Twitter chatter,
Mhm.
and I said, you know what? I, for a long time, have been advocating putting the train in a tunnel rather than putting it
Right.
in a bridge, because we're trying to build a commuter rail service between Miami and West Palm
Yes.
Beach, and that's going to add 40 trains a day. And if anyone who travels on Broward Boulevard or Sunrise or on the New River wonders how are we going to be able to accommodate the opening and closing of those gates throughout the day, especially during rush hour.
There's quite a few of them.
And there are quite a few of them. I mean, it would wreak havoc on what we have here now. So the Florida Department of Transportation wants to build a bridge, and apparently lessons are never learned, because if you ever look at bridges throughout the country, they destroy communities, they
Yes,
divide
yeah.
communities. And the history of Fort Lauderdale has not been a good one when it comes to division and keeping people on this side of the track and the other side of the track. And I wasn't going to permanently cement that division here in our community. It was been a big mistake if we couldn't find a better solution. So I've been exploring options for many, many months, trying to figure out what the best pathway to trying to build a tunnel. And then we started hearing that the Boring Company was ready to build a tunnel. So we
Reached out to him on Twitter, right?
Well, yes,
That's an
actually
amazing story.
we did, and I have to commend Vice Mayor Mike Udine for helping to initiate this. And the good thing was that we were able to connect with the railroad company, FECI, and Brightline, and equally eager to get
That's
involved in the tunnel
fantastic.
project. So we all went out west this past week, and we all spoke with their engineers, everybody that involved in building that first tunnel
Right.
in Las Vegas, and also the test tunnel we visited in Hawthorne, California, which is just outside of LA. And everyone has come back eager to move forward in this
motivated.
regard. Totally motivated, because they see the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Not just about the train tunnel, but what about building a tunnel from the Brightline station to Las Olas down
That's
to
fantastic.
A1A? So you can come to Fort Lauderdale, park your car at the Brightline station, which is a huge parking garage, and get into a Tesla, which is how they operate this. Okay,
Exactly.
so there are Tesla operators, and in the future there will be driverless vehicles, and you get to go from downtown Fort Lauderdale, park your car there, eliminate all the traffic,
Mm-hmm.
and find yourself at the Oceanside Park that we've just built. And you're able to appreciate our beach without having to deal with all the traffic.
That's
And
fantastic.
it saves the communities in between the Las Olas Isles and the Colby Hammock folks, all those people that can, that suffer under
Exactly
the
right.
burden of heavy
Mhm.
traffic.
Mhm.
We can eliminate so much of that. And this is such an easy solution.
Our retirees will be a lot happier.
Yeah, exactly.
Your phone won't be calling so
Exactly.
ringing so much in the middle
So
of the night.
these are just some examples of what we're able to learn, what opportunities now present to the city at a cost that is a fraction of what we were told early on when it came to building tunnels. That's the important thing. The cost is a fraction of what we were told. Example. People say, "Well, how can you believe this?" Well, there are examples. They've already shown how they can build the tunnels, build them for less, and do it safely and efficiently. And if there's one thing, and the reason why we went to the SpaceX facilities, because they just wanted to show off.
Of course.
And I was
I'm
happy
so
to
proud of it.
so that inside their facility, which is a former Northrop Grumman facility, they took it over, and we saw pieces of a rocket being built.
Right. there's a
That
picture again.
was their first rocket
Yep.
that you see there. But inside the building, we couldn't take pictures, but we saw the booster rockets, we saw the different stages. I mean, everything, the capsule, everything that they're going to piece together for their next launch, we got to
That's
see. And they were
great.
very excited to show us, but they're definitely on the cutting edge of technology. And the reason why that's important is because they have outpriced all the other traditional vendors and contractors that NASA had been dealing with all the years. NASA's out of the business now. NASA doesn't need to be sending up satellites anymore. SpaceX is doing it for them
Elon
at
Musk
a
is-
fraction of the
Yeah,
price.
he's a genius, and
Yeah.
I've heard great stories about him and how he sleeps, his sleep pattern. So that's
Oh,
another
really?
story. Yeah, he's a great guy. I used to own a Tesla, so I might be back. We'll
Yeah.
see. This is an exciting time for the city. We're definitely open for business. We're open for technology. Any words of wisdom you can share with other mayors from other cities that are suffering, are still, trying to recover from COVID? Any words of advice?
Well, I think the best advice is advice that I have followed from other mayors, and that is to just, be positive and keep your head up, and again, try to find that proper balance between keeping people safe and keeping the economy moving forward.
Yeah.
We have meetings every 2 or 3 weeks with all the mayors within our county, all 31 mayors. That's hosted by the mayor of the county, and we talk about, we exchange ideas, and while not everybody agrees on things, we at least hear what our best
Communication.
practices. Yeah, it is communication, because the 7 coastal mayors have different points of view most of the time than the suburban mayors. So, and we have different needs, we have different expectations. We're more tourist based, and so we have to really. We have other considerations to keep in mind. So it works in the end, okay?
Yeah.
And I think Fort
So-
Lauderdale and Broward
So you hear
County-
that, the mayors?
Yes.
Communication is the key to
Communication
success.
is the key. And understanding and being sympathetic to one another, I think those are important things.
Mhm.
But I get calls all the time from people in the business community, and they hear the eyes and ears on the ground, keep telling us what's going on.
And you are very, very in tune with a lot of the business leaders, and even down to the residents. You're always communicating and always available. We
We try
appreciate
to
that.
be.
Yep.
It's part of my life.
Exactly. Well, you better get back to life. I know
Yeah.
you're going to be late for a meeting. Well, as I say, define your dreams, go after them. Whether you live, work, or play on the water, just get on the water, because there's nothing better than a lifestyle on the water. So, Dean, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
For those
Thank
of you who
Kim.
have never been to Fort Lauderdale, I challenge you to visit our great city. It's one of the best places in the world. It's my favorite place in the world, and I'm sure yours too.
You know, we went to visit beaches in California.
Mhm.
We stayed at Marina Del Rey because it was right next to Hawthorne. And I got a chance to go to Venice Beach and go. They have nothing on us. They have nothing
Love it.
on us. We have the most beautiful beach in the world, and it's exciting, and it's available, and it's within reach, and the water's not 40 degrees.
I like that. Well,
no.
come and visit us.
Yeah,
We're open for business.
We are the best beach in the world.
All right. Well, thanks again. It's a pleasure hosting you on my show.
Thank you, Kim.
and you're a dear friend. And thanks again for all you do for us.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right.
it. Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone. See you next week.